This parent function is called the constant parent function. The equation of this function is f of x, which of course means the same as y, is equal to some number. It can be any number. We're going to call it c. In order to make this something that we can actually draw the graph of, we're going to pick a number for c. Now c can be any real number. So it can be a positive number, it could be a negative number, it could even be a fraction, or it could be 0. For sake of example, I'm just going to choose f of x is equal to 3. Now we're going to pick some x's, values for the independent variable, so that we can draw the graph and see what it looks like. So I'm going to pick an x value of a -1, a 0, a 1, and a 2. And we're going to be using this equation so that way we get a value for y instead of just a c, which could be anything. So if I pick -1 for x and I put it into this equation, wherever I see an x, since there are no x's, that means that it would not change the equation at all. It would just still be a 3. So if x is a -1, this still says y equals 3. And if x is a 0, again, since there's no x in the equation, this would just say y is equal to 3 still. So x is 0, y is 3. And if x is 1, y is 3. X is 2, y is still 3. So now I have a list of points that I can plot. So I've got -1, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, and 2, 3. I'm going to plot those points so I can see the pattern, see what it looks like. So -1, 3, I'd start at the origin, I go to the left 1 and up 3. Then 0, 3, start at the origin, go over 0 and up 3. 1, 3, so start at the origin, I'm going to go to the right 1 and up 3. And 2, 3, so I'm going to start at the origin, go over 2 and up 3. Now it appears that these points are falling along the same horizontal line. So this one looks like it's going to be horizontal. The pattern I notice is a horizontal line. So I'm going to go ahead and connect them. And of course, if you're not sure, you could always pick a few more values of x and put them in, and make sure that you always get 3 for the answer. It does go on forever to the right, so I used an arrow so that I don't have to keep drawing the picture. And it goes on forever to the left, so I'm going to use an arrow on that side as well. The domain of this one. So this is all the values of x that I'm allowed to choose in order to put into this equation. Now since there's no x in the equation at all, it really doesn't matter what x's we choose. That means we could choose anything for x, any real number. So I'm going to write that by saying x belongs to the set of real numbers. These symbols means x belongs to the set of real numbers. The y values, for this one, since it says y is equal to 3, or in the general case, y is just equal to some constant number, then that means the y value is always going to be whatever that constant number is, no matter what x is used. And y is never going to be any other number. So that means for the range, all the possible y values here, it's just going to be y is equal to c. So now if I'm looking where this function is increasing or decreasing or constant, I'm going to give the interval of x's for which it's doing each of these things. Looking at the graph as I move from left to right, if the graph, if the curve that's on there is moving upward, then I'm going to say it's increasing. If it's moving downward, I'd say it's decreasing. And if it's staying the same, I would say it's constant. Now on this one, as I moved my pen across the screen there, the graph was never doing anything with going up or down. It was staying the same always. So that means this one is actually constant for the entire domain. So that would be from -infinity to infinity. I'd put that in parentheses to signify that it's from negative infinity to positive infinity. And if it's constant on all of the possible values of x, then that means this graph can never be increasing or decreasing. So we'd have none for increasing and none for decreasing. The things you need to know about this parent function are the name, constant parent function, the equation, f of x is equal to c, how the graph looks. This would be just a horizontal line. You need to know the domain is all real numbers, and the range is just y equals whatever that constant value is. If you know the graph, you can figure out increasing, decreasing, and constant from the picture.